Aloha. Welcome to the Walking in Aloha, Let's Talk Story podcast. We're so glad to have you here. Et como mai. Now here's our podcast host and award-winning author, Michelle.
Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the Walking in Aloha, Let's Talk Story podcast. Oh my goodness, what happened to my throat? Day 5 of 90 days of our Jumpstart to 2026, the Aloha Always challenge. We are on day 5 and we are going through the 5 steps of Aloha, the Aloha Always framework. And if you just joined us, the Aloha Always framework is affirmations and actions, leadership and love, overcoming obstacles, health and healing, and acute awareness. So today it is acute awareness. I understand that there is 7 days in a week. So for the other 2 days of the week, we will touch on something else. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But today is acute awareness. So on day 5, awareness is where transformation begins. Awareness is where transformation begins. Let's start again. You can't change what you won't face, and you can't heal what you keep hiding. So today it's about slowing down long enough to listen to your heart and your body, and let God's gentle whisper guide you forward. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. When you become aware of your thoughts, your habits, and your triggers, you start taking back your power. And let me tell you, acute awareness is something that I thank God for. Back when things were bad, let me back up and apologize for the fact that I am coming on about half an hour, 40 minutes late, but I have good reason. I was on a call with an amazing person that I will be doing a podcast with in a little bit. She's going to be scheduling the time in the next few, but I was on a podcast, not a podcast, but an interview with her to schedule out that. So forgive me for being late. But now, back in the day when I did not have this framework, back in the day when I was stuck in the silence of domestic violence and I didn't know anything about the Aloha Always framework, that acute awareness was not there. And after I prayed and I asked God to help me write my book, and He said, I gave you everything in Aloha. As I wrote it out, I realized that He showed me what acute awareness was. And it was not only looking at the abuser and seeing the things that helped me to get out and get safe, but also after I got out and got safe, looking at myself and being acutely aware of what I needed to change within myself. If I wanted something different, I needed to make the difference. And I had to stop making excuses. That's something I had to be aware of. I had to stop making excuses. The small little incremental shifts that I had to do, the things that I was saying, the things that I was speaking out, was creating a block. It was stopping me from changing. I was up to the last, I say 225 pounds, but it was more. At the highest, I don't remember how high I was, but as when I started to weigh myself and when I started to want to lose the weight, not from the highest when I was on the scale, but from the point of wanting to lose the weight, that was 225 pounds. But what about before that? What about when I wasn't even checking on it? I was heavier than that. But when the doctor told me that I needed to lose the weight, when the doctor told me that every step that I was taking was that much weight put on the one bad leg, every step that I took was, hard for that one leg. And he said I needed to lose at least 20 pounds. I think he was trying to be nice. And he was, you know, at least 20 pounds, lose at least 20 pounds. And I was like, how am I supposed to lose 20 pounds? I can't even exercise. I can't do this. I can't do that. How am I supposed to even lose 20 pounds? I remember as clear as day saying those words. How am I supposed to even? And so I didn't. I didn't even try until that day that I wanted to go and walk my grandson in his stroller. And I told my daughter, yeah, I just want to, go walk him. And she was like, are you sure, mom? And I already, like, I thought my leg was getting better and I was like already safe. I was already out and I couldn't even walk him in the stroller. I was trying to lean on the stroller so hard. And it was those little umbrella strollers. And I mentioned this yesterday, but I was leaning on it so hard and I couldn't even walk. And so I had to turn around and I told her I can't. And I felt so bad, not just for him, but for me, that I couldn't even do that. And so I decided that things needed to change. And I realized the acute awareness of the fact that no one is force feeding me. No one is putting food in my mouth except for myself. And there I said, I'm going to change the way that I eat. I can't exercise. My leg was too sore. I couldn't walk on it. I already had the surgery done and everything like that. So I knew that it was like stable enough for me to walk on it. I knew that much. But other than that, I couldn't walk on it. It was too sore. So anyway, um, I started to change the way I ate. I decided that I wasn't going to eat any more rice. I was going to change the way that I ate. And so, yeah, I explained this yesterday. It was that acute awareness that made me decide that I was the one feeding me, right? And I was the one making the excuses, no one else. And I lost 30 pounds before even hitting the gym. I lost 30 pounds before exercising or anything. I just changed the way that I ate. That was it. Acute awareness, realizing and recognizing the things that you're doing. What are you saying to yourself? What excuses are you making? What things are you saying? Those things. Last night, uh, I was busy. I was tired, but I had to get on a call and it's in Australia. So it is midnight there and I was tired, but I knew I had to stay on the call. And I know a lot of times the way that I do stay awake through a lot of the trainings and a lot of the schoolwork that I do is I eat. Yeah, I do. I eat. And so I text my husband. I said, oh, can you make me assignment? And so I don't know. Well, I don't want to say I don't know because as I was eating, I do know. And see, those are the words, right? Can you say that you don't know or do you know? And as I was eating, I realized I don't need to be eating right now. I'm just tired and I want to stay awake. So how could I have changed that? What could I have done differently? I got on the scale this morning and it was 4 ounces from the day before. The day before that, there was no weight loss. It was 190.8 and then 190.8. And then today is 190.4. So every ounce counts, right? Remember that when you get on the scale, every ounce counts. And, celebrate every small win so that you can succeed, but do that acute awareness. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. And the scripture for today is Psalms 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. The affirmation is I walk in awareness. I notice God's hand in every detail of my day. So take 10 minutes of silence today. No phone, no distractions. Just breathe, pray, and write down one thing that God is revealing to you in this season. So today, the awareness is the light that transforms confusion into clarity. Stay awake to the miracles that's happening around you and within you. So today's affirmation is I walk with awareness, notice God's hand in every detail of my day. So remember that God is with you always, and be still. Psalm 46:10, be still and know that he is God. Until tomorrow, I am gonna go. I need to get ready for work. And hubby already opened the door to let me know that he's awake. Okay? Thank you for being with me here on day 5 of our 90-day Jumpstart to 2026 Aloha Always challenge. If this helped you, do share, subscribe, and share. And leave it in the comments on what you would like me to talk about next. All right. Until tomorrow, God's blessings always, and a hui ho.
Thank you for joining us here on the Walking in Aloha, Let's Talk Story podcast. Before leaving, please hit that subscribe button. God's blessings always, and a hui ho.